Hi guys, I wanted to do a quick vlog post for you guys today. I know I was really low on energy this week. I just got back from a trip to El Centro and to Yuma, Arizona, where I was doing a shoot all of last week. So my camera's really exhausted, I'm really exhausted, but I did want to get some post out today. And I also wanted to cook myself one of my favorite dishes, and I figured as long as I was doing that, I might as well share it with you. This is a recipe called Lentil-Quinoa Stew with lots of kale. This is from the Isa Does It cookbook. It is a vegan recipe, so don't look for any meat in this. My friend Cynthia Corral shared this with me, so I'm gonna share it with you guys today. It's super easy, and I really love all the ingredients in it. It takes a little bit of time to cook, but after it's done, it's totally worth it. It's a really hearty, warm stew that can be just a full meal in and of itself. Here's lentil quinoa stew with lots of kale. You need some olive oil. You'll need an onion, just a small yellow or white onion, whichever you prefer. You'll also need a couple cloves of garlic. The original recipe calls for 3 cloves, but that's also for twice as much stew. I'm only making half the actual recipe, but I do like a lot of garlic, so I put 2 cloves of garlic in mine. I don't like to mince it up too small. I actually like finding those good chunks of garlic in there, but if you don't like that, then definitely just mince it up small, it'll be great. You'll need some herbs. This recipe uses tarragon, thyme, and a bay leaf. You'll want some vegetable broth. Just pick your favorite from the store, it doesn't really matter. You'll want some carrots. I chopped mine up into these little rounds today. Sometimes I leave them chunkier. It's up to you really what you want. You'll also want some celery. This is about 2 small stalks of celery. For this recipe, I'm gonna use lentils. These are just the regular brown lentils you find in the store. You're gonna want some quinoa. The recipe calls for red quinoa. I like the white quinoa, but the red actually does look really nice. So what I do for this recipe is I'd use a mix of both. You want a 1/2 pound of kale. If you buy the full bunch of kale, make sure you trim all those stems out. You'll want some balsamic vinegar. This is just gonna come at the very end. And then when you're actually serving it, you want some good hot sauce. Just whatever your favorite hot sauce is will do. Now I'm gonna get some oil heating up here in my skillet first. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add that garlic. So the garlic should cook up nice in there for just a few seconds. And then at this phase, I add the herbs. So the bay leaf, the thyme, the tarragon, those will go in before I add the onion. Now the onion, you wanna cook the onion until it's nice and translucent. Add your carrots and your celery. You're gonna add your lentils and your quinoa, both kinds. And then you're gonna pour in all that vegetable broth. You wanna make sure you've got lots of liquid for this one. Bring the whole thing to a boil, and after you get it to a nice boil, you're going to cover it, turn the heat down just a little, and you're gonna let this cook at a lower heat, kind of a low, medium, low heat, for about 40 minutes. Now what you're looking for is really for those lentils to get nice and soft and cooked all the way through. But we're gonna check it every 10 minutes. Our lentils are cooked all the way through. I'll take one out of the pot and I'll taste it just to make sure it's all the way done. And once that's done, you should see most of the water is gone at this point, but you still want some liquid in there. You don't want it to be a total soup at this point. Now is when we're gonna add the kale. I'm gonna take the heat all the way down to much lower and start mixing in that kale just handful by handful so I can get it all in there. All right, once that kale's all mixed in, you want to give it a chance to cook a little bit longer. I added just a little bit more liquid to keep the whole thing from drying up and burning on the bottom. Once that kale is cooked, it should be nice and silky and just sort of tender to your tooth. So go ahead and grab a little bit and just bite into it to see if it's done. Once that's done, go ahead and turn off the heat. And here's where that little splash of balsamic vinegar comes in. Just go ahead and dump it in, mix it in, and let the whole thing sit for just a few more minutes before you serve it up. And when you do serve it up, it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but it is really tasty, and I guarantee you it'll be it's a good little comfort food for a cold night like this. Go ahead and add your sriracha or your tapatio, whatever your favorite hot sauce is there. If you're not a vegan, maybe you want to try a fried egg on top. I don't know, that's what I like to do. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the recipe. I hope you'll try some recipes of your own, and I hope you'll share some of your recipes with me. Thanks, guys. I'll see you later.